Hello and welcome to Shannon Gardens. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So if you guys have watched any of my past videos, you may notice a common theme in my pursuit of finding plants to add to my garden that either attract hummingbirds or butterflies or other pollinators to my garden. And once I've added those to my garden, I do spend quite a bit of time observing to see where the pollinators go, what plants they tend to go to the most. And there's one plant that time and time again, I have noticed that the hummingbirds go to the most. And that's the plant that I wanted to talk to you guys about today, which is salvia. The salvia is a large genus of plants with over 1,000 species. And while I do not have near 1,000 species, I do have a few. And while I have other plants that attract hummingbirds in my perennial garden, time and time again, 9 times out of 10, I would say, I find the hummingbirds at the salvia. So they'll visit the other plants, but they really hang out around that salvia, and that's where they go the most. So what I thought I'd do is I wanted to take you guys in my perennial garden and show you the salvia that I do have. And while I'm doing that, highlight some of the characteristics of salvia and adding it to your garden. All right, so let's go take a look. Salvia can come in annual and perennial varieties, and they attract hummingbirds, butterflies, and other pollinators. They are designated for hardiness zones 5 through 10 and generally bloom from spring to first frost. The color flower options include purple, blue, red, pink, peach, and white, and they can grow anywhere from 18 inches to 5 feet tall, depending on the variety. I have some taller varieties and one smaller variety, and unfortunately, I can't remember the exact names of the taller varieties as I planted them quite some time ago. I did recently plant one of the smaller varieties, though, which is called the Vibe Ignition Fuchsia Salvia, which is the one I'm showing now. And that one grows about 24 inches wide and tall. Now, salvias prefer full sun, about 6 to 8 hours of sun per day, in well-draining soil. Now, I've read that some varieties can do well in part shade as well, and those varieties are generally the ones with a lighter coloration, but flowering could be reduced. In addition to being a great attractant for hummingbirds and other pollinators, they also carry the benefit of being both deer and rabbit resistant, which has been great as I have both visitors to my garden. They have also been very easy to care for and heat and drought resistant as well. Another great benefit has been the ability to divide particularly the purple salvia that I have and establish many other plants from that purple salvia throughout my garden. Now, I haven't divided my more shrub-like salvia nor the smaller one that I planted earlier this year, but I have divided the purple salvia many times over with success. Now, one thing you'll want to know is to take care of choosing your varieties, as not all varieties are hardy in all regions. Some are grown as annuals, particularly in colder regions, so you'll just want to make sure that you're choosing the appropriate variety for your region and your needs. I'm only showing perennial varieties today that are perennial in my region, but have been successful in growing annual varieties as well. And I also wanted to mention that I've planted salvia in containers as well in the past. One other item to note is that salvia can suffer from root rot and powdery mildew in humid environments if not given the proper air circulation, and that's always a concern for me. I am in zone 7B in the southeast where it's quite humid. I have not had an issue with this directly as my plants are planted in areas that have good air circulation, but it is something that I did want to mention as well. I also wanted to share with you guys just a little shopping trip that I did when I was looking for salvia when I bought the smaller variety, just to show you a couple of the varieties that I ran across on that shopping trip as well. Also looking for a new salvia plant, and they have this radio red autumn sage. You have ignition purple salvia that's full to partial sun. They have Vibe Ignition Fuchsia Salvia. Look at this color. That's gorgeous. I think that might be the one I'm going with. That's full to partial sun. And it blooms spring to fall, zones 7 through 11, 18 to 24 inches tall and wide. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really enjoyed talking about salvia and, of course, talking about and looking at the hummingbirds visiting the salvia. So thank you so much again. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, happy gardening and goodbye.